Good evening. Excuse me. Good evening. I want to thank afiig and especially Brad and his sick sense of humor for hosting us here at the steakhouse. You notice that every time we have one of these meetings, we have to walk by the steaks, and then by the time we get out of here, he's shut down. You can't eat. So it's hamburger time. I apologize if anybody's heard any of this before. I'll try to be brief and run through it really fast. Born in Abilene, and some people asked me recently, when did you get an interest in law enforcement? And I had to look back to the old black and white Crosby television set we had when the good guys chased the bad guys in the white hats. Those old westerns that came on back then. And then we came with the detective shows where people solved crimes and arrested the crooks. And that really interested me. But when I took a little survey in high school with my high school counselor, Mr. Lockhart, I said, what are you interested in? And you'd write down these things, and I had rancher, aerospace engineer, and police officer. And he said, no, you don't want to be a police officer. You'll never make any money, that's a bad choice. And I had an aunt that worked for General Dynamics in Fort Worth, and she kept telling me how great it was to be an engineer, that all he did was sit up there and draw cartoons all day, and made all this money. And she'd bring me the cartoons from Fort Worth. I looked at it and I said, oh, okay. Graduated from high school in a little town called Novice, Texas. Went to Tarleton State in Stephenville, because a lot of my friends had gone there. I thought, I'll go to Tarleton, enroll in engineering, get my basics out, I'll transfer to A&M, get an engineering degree. 1 year after sitting in drafting class for hours at a time, drawing somebody else's designs, copying them, looking out that third floor window and seeing guys toss a football around outside and going home early for the weekend, I thought, can I do this my entire life? Sat behind the drafting table and said, no way. Switched my major and eventually got on Stephenville Police Department at the ripe old age of 19. I started as a reserve officer. A couple of months, the chief thought I was doing a good job that he offered me a full-time position. So I worked on patrol 11 to 7 at night and went to school and nodded off in class during the day. And from there, got married. My wife Carolyn's from Stephenville. We got married, and then I hauled her off down to Tuskegee, Alabama. Anybody ever heard of that place? Had a friend that was the deputy chief of police there, and he kept recruiting me and saying, come down and work for me, come down and work for me, I need help, I need help. So I finally just got enough of his phone calls, and he said, how much will it take? Well, I gave him a figure, which was more than I was making in Stephenville, plus what my wife was working as an operator for the phone company, and then some on top of that. I shot him that figure and said, it'll never fly, I won't have to go. An hour later, he calls me back and says, the mayor says that's okay, come on down. Some of the greatest experience I ever had. I mean, it was like almost 24 hours. I never saw so much crime in my life and corruption. That's the bad thing about it. I was a detective captain. We were making cases every day. In fact, we made cases on some people we probably shouldn't have made cases on, so we got a contract put out on me. And my buddy, they actually shot at my buddy one night. It was kind of like a Buford Pusser type thing down in the old South. And we were working with a U.S. attorney out of Montgomery, and an ATF agent, and we met with him one night and he said, boys, I said, there's no need to get yourself killed down here for this. I said, I recommend that you pack up and get back to Texas while you still can. So we did. Moved back to Abilene, enrolled in Hardin-Simmons to finish my degree, got my degree in law enforcement. That's before it was not politically correct. Now they call it criminal justice. But back then it was law enforcement. I worked for Taylor County Sheriff's Department, night patrol again. Got my degree in 1976, got promoted to night patrol supervisor, and worked some investigation and worked warrants. My first daughter was born while I was in Abilene. Hendrick Hospital, if you ever heard of that place. The county of Taylor back then did not have maternity insurance. So I said, want to raise a family, can't do this, had to pay that out of my own pocket. Went to the Border Patrol, spent 5 years, went to the Marshal Service, spent 26 years, retired from there as supervisory deputy, supervising in Abilene, San Angelo, Abilene, Amarillo. People say, why do you want to be sheriff? I said, well, it's a calling. Sometimes you just know what you're supposed to do. It's a calling. And I want the very best for my family, for my friends, and everyone else here. If I thought somebody else could do a better job, I'd be supporting him. If we got a Joe Arpaio or Richard Mack running, I'd be supporting them, but there's not one, so I'm running. Thank you very much.